Good morning, guys. Very, very late to the party, I guess. I overslept. I was just being lazy on a Sunday morning, so sorry about that. I hope you're all well. Okay, so what do we do? There's a couple of people that are here. On Crapsee, I think. I'll wait for about 2-3 seconds and just call it. Here we go. So the set of choice 4645. It's a V set. Let's see what sort of results it's going to give us. Nice. 4-6. That's probably implosion of the right die. Here we go, 4-6-4-5. That's it. Four, 6. Another one. It's the front line. Hi, G, what's up? Oh! Really enjoyed the dice analysis. It was very informative and I appreciate your explanation of it. Well done. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I do appreciate the feedback. Thank you, sir. For 6 for 5 for 6 for 5 4 6 for 5. That's it. Let's say 5-1, which is a drift. Drift means if I take my dice and drift them back this way, we're ready to roll for 6 for 5. Huh. Yeah, I would focus on mechanics first and then the rest. Hard 6 is a primary. That's a frontline winner. And that's our 2 hits and down. So, yeah, I think the list of priorities, I would say mechanics is the first one, to actually understand not only how to grip and toss properly, but the adjustments that you need to make in order to take away a little of the variability off from what you're doing. So once you achieve that, I think then you move on to understand dice sets and dice behavior, and perhaps go down the long road of transposing sets as you go along and saying, okay, my decision for the next set is this because my mechanics are doing this today, or my dice are doing this today. For 5 for 6, no, for 6 for 5. Nice. That's a 1-3 secondary. Nice. 6-1. That one I didn't like. The 6 is on axis. The 1 is what? Explosion of the right die. 6-1-7.
Oops.
I think I've seen you shoot. You shoot from the ends, and I think you have a very structured and very rigid way of throwing. Your arm is like this, and you don't. I don't think you. I don't think you go like that. I think your arm is very stiff when you throw, if I remember it correctly. I'm not sure, but I think that's how you throw. That's your style. Am I correct? Do I remember it correct? Because I try my best to remember how everyone is throwing. There we go. So we had explosion. We can no, I can't do that. It's a thumb adjustment for 6. That's the ace again. I don't like the ace coming out. 1, 3, 4. So I must be pushing the dice and I don't realize it. So Nice. Aces. Even worse. Things are getting worse. So since I'm exploding the dice, I'm just gonna quarter turn the set. From here, I'm just gonna go to a 1-4-2-4. Just trying to align the set with the way I'm throwing. The ideal alignment would be to go to hardways set, but for now, you know. Hi, Derek. Oh, thank you. Okay. So we're on a 1-4-2-4. That's the 4-1-5, which may have, we just saved the 7 basically by doing that. We were on 4-6-5-6. And we noticed that the right die was coming out to play. So if I kept the set at the 4-6-4-5 is the set we're using. So I quarter turn my dice here to a 1-4-2-4. And what happened was this die came up and this die exploded outwards, which has been happening a lot. Okay, so if we were here at the original, quarter turn would have been a 6-1-7, which is what happened before. And by just making that adjustment and assuming that we have some sort of mechanics which are a little bit consistent, we're helping things along where we're trying to prolong our role like that. Okay. So we actually got paid on this one. Quarter turn to 1-4-2-4. The disadvantage of this particular setup is that because you have an ace and a 2, they don't give you a lot of guidance on where your thumb should be or your middle finger. So I really have to be careful with how I place my thumb and middle fingers. That's a 4-2-6, that's secondary. Now we come down to a basic 96. Now we need a primary. So 1-4-2-4. We need the top side, or we need the explosion of both dice for the small. So that's 2 hits for now. Dice up. There we go. I think it was a 2-1. It was an explosion of both dice. So we got the small. I think it was a 2-1 as opposed to 1-2, which is primary. Both dice exploded, they opened up, and that's how we got the small. So let's see. We got it in 5. I don't think we could get it in less than that, so that's nice. So what do we do? Well, I only have 96 across, so in this particular situation, Um, a bit of psychology theory is the following: turn your bets off simply because at a real table, the shooter is going to be high-fived by every Tom, Dick, and Harry. His friends, his unknowns, everybody. And his adrenaline is going to be so high so that the concentration of the shooter is, I would say, affected, slightly affected. He's not going to be on the very best. So turn your bets off. You're not going to lose anything. You can always turn it back on. So 4645 is our original set. And we did that, and the dice exploded, so we are on the best version of this set by quarter turning the dice towards us, 1424. And I think this was something that I talked about with Derek as well yesterday. I may have moved my dice quarter turn at some point. Or was it Troy? I think Troy was shooting from the end, so dice up. That's a 358 secondary. Okay. So I'm going to super power press, that's how I call it. It's just $5 on each number. It's me being sarcastic. So that's hit number 3. The other clue that makes me feel okay to continue throwing this variation of the set is the fact that I got a 3 out of it in the 358. So even if I can't guess what happened to the 5, whether it's an on-axis 5 or whether it's an implosion of the left die, I am given confidence by either a 3 or a 4. Here we go, 1424. So we carry out a couple of checks with our thumb, and then our middle finger, and then how they balance out on the table. Dice up. 257. Okay, that I didn't see coming. So that's explosion of the left die with a 5, which is on axis. Okay, and a 3-4 as well. So this came out. So it must have been at what, 6-5? Oh crap! It was a primary. All rotations. Okay. I don't know if you guys are following what I'm saying or whether you think I'm crazy. Back to the original 4645. Dice up. Heart 4. Explosion of the left eye. 2. Hi Lee, good morning. Oh, sorry. Very late evening. Good evening. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hey, Mel. Okay. Yeah, we were on a 4.645 original. I don't like the explosion side of things. It means that I'm pushing my dice. So shall we try and change that by picking up the dice from higher up? And in order to do that, just another little tip for you guys. If you want to make sure that your dice are being picked up from the top, don't place them here and pick them up. Place them as close to you as possible, because it makes it uncomfortable for your thumb to go low. If you place them somewhere here away from you, it makes it very comfortable for your thumb to go low on the dice. I think in this case we want to pick them up from high up. So I'm going to bring them somewhere here and pick them up from the top. I'm going to arrange the thumb to make sure it's in the middle, but high up. And then arrange the middle finger get my posture right, and test the dice against the felt, and launch. We got a 3 up, we got a 4-3. So got the axis right, screwed up the rest. We'll get there. We will get there. That's kind of 7. We got the axis, which is the most important part. 4-6, 4-5. Dice up. 4, 6, 10, that's the implosion of the right die. We don't mind. Dice up. 2-5. How am I doing that? Exploding the left die. 4, 6, 10 is here, the 2-5 is boards. Alright, so we have to switch sets now. It's inevitable. It's not working for me today. Let's go 6-5, 6-5. Dice up. 3, 5, 8. That's explosion of the left die. So we're doing a 1-off axis, which is okay for this set. That's 4-1. The 4 is off axis. That's implosion of the left die. Stop cross. Nice. Heart 6, that's a drift. So we are basically okay in terms of not using the kissing sets, because if we drift with the kissing sets, we are out. Let's hit number 3. So as I go along, I'm checking boxes. That's all I'm saying to you guys, and you'll get to a point where it becomes very natural to you to actually understand and use this methodology, which is a lot more complicated than picking up dice, setting properly, and throwing. You actually think about what would have been my result if I was using V sets or kissing sets. So 6-1, okay, that one I didn't expect. I'm not discouraged though, because I think that my dice got caught on the felt. Let's try again. I'm not throwing very well today, am I? Let's go. Dice out. 6-4 of axis 4. George, what would you consider one of the best sets? Oh, I would say this to you, and I think in time you will agree with me. The idea of people using one particular set and saying that this is the best set is wrong on so many levels. There is the best set for starting your rolls, and that's a kissing set. Because out of all the sets, hardways and V sets, it gives you the most accurate information about dice behavior. And with kissing sets, I'm talking about a 2-3-3-2, 4-1-1-4, 6-5-5-6, or the ones that we use, me and Brian use. Brian uses 6-2-1-2, which is a kissing 4 set. I use a 1-5-6-5. Same thing, kissing 4s. And the idea behind that is this. If your dice implode, they come inwards, which is a very important piece of information, you concede. If your dice explode, you concede. With the hardways, you're never sure if a die is an implosion of the left or an explosion of the right die. That's one thing. The other thing is that if you double pitch, you can see what happened. If you stay on axis secondary, you can see what happens. So these are the pieces of information that are very important on the come-out roll for me. regardless of which particular kissing set you use and for what reason, there are people that use them for horns and for this and for that. I'm not into that. I really am very bad at the strategy game. And if I was to give you an answer, it would be the following. Follow the results of those sets and decide on your next roll, if you establish a point, whether you would go to hardware sets or whether you would go to V sets, and remain flexible. A lot of people are not flexible in how they throw dice. They remain, I see this a lot. I mean, throughout the video that I did the commentary on, Brian opted to stay on that particular 6-2-1-2. You opted to stay on a 2-1-2-3. Same with Troy. It's not a bad idea. But you will get to a stage where you will say to yourself, my mechanics are changing. So I actually need to adjust with how my mechanics are changing in terms of I'm getting tired, my back is hurting. So I can see myself throwing the dice with more energy or with less energy. And I can see the results changing from off axis to on axis. Where should I be? What's the result that would actually be better for me? And it's a very dynamic and very fluid situation. So I cannot answer your question about best sets. What I can tell you is know the sets. Know the alignment of those sets to how you're throwing. And that is going to potentially prolong your rolls at the table. Here we go. For beginners, though, I think that the hardware sets are the best because I'll tell you why in a minute, guys. The hardware sets have one advantage, 6-2, 6-2, and there's only one advantage to the hardware sets. Their sevens are placed as far away as possible from each other. Now they're placed at 2 rotations of the dice away from each other. So that's something to consider. I don't use hardware sets to stay on axis, to be honest. I use them to align to the way I'm throwing. For example, now I'm throwing one off axis almost, all the time. The 6-2 was the first on axis secondary. If I get a second one, I'm gonna move back to V sets. Dice up. 3-2. You see, that was off axis. And potentially a 7. Let's see, 6-5, 6-5. 3-2. On a 6-5, 6-4. Hard 6. Okay, it wouldn't be a 7, but I'm just saying that, there's always that possibility that you might implode a die at the wrong location. So here we go, 6-5, 6-5. (4-2). The 4-2 is for sure a 7 out on my 4-6-4-5 set. I will prove it to you. So we were on a 6-5, 6-5. I don't know whether you guys can see this. And we rotated the dice. These are the twos at the top. And then we got Implosion, 4-2. As the result. Okay, let's go back and go to the 4-6, 4-5. That was a set. Rotate, implode, 5-7. So at the moment, I'm doing the right thing in terms of trying to prolong my roll. I'm not trying to do anything, fancy. I'm just trying to prolong how long I can hold the dice for. That's it. Nothing special. And I'm doing it with a very, very sort of elaborate knowledge of dice sets. Dice set. Three, 2. That's a hard 6 on the 4-6, 4-5. $35. Okay, sorry about that. No, it's not. 6-5, 6-5. That's rotation. Explosion, okay. 4-6, 4-5. Rotation. Hard 4, sorry. It was a hard 4, not a hard 6. Here we go. 6-5, 6-5. One, 5. That's a secondary, that's on axis, that's worrying for me. If I get one more on axis, I start thinking about going back to resets. Hi Marcelo, good morning. Dice up. Boxcar, that's a primary. Everybody's cheering. I want to move away from this set. Immediately. Because it's a primary. So I'm going to go to 6-4, 6-2, which is a cross sixes set, implosion friendly. And keep it at this particular setup, 6-4, 6-2. Because the previous two results were either top or bottom. They contained the 6 or a 1 in there. So that's another one of my criteria. Nice up. Four, 2, 6. That's a primary. Okay, so that's another good question. And again, if you are a beginner and you're throwing hard ways, check and see whether you're throwing one off axis. If you're throwing one off axis, my personal recommendation would be forget the 4-2, 4-2. Forget about it. There's no reason for you to do that. To throw a 4-6, a 4-2-4-2. I would be better off throwing the 6-5-6-5, 5-6-5-6, 6-2-6-2. Why? Because your one-off axis is going to be either a 3 or a 4. Now, what I want you to do is to consider this. Add 3 plus any number on your dice, apart from the obvious 4. 3 plus 1 is 4. 3 plus 2 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. 3 plus 6 is 9. Then the 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. 4 plus 2 is 6. 4 plus 5 is 9. 4 plus 6 is 10. And of course you have the 4-4 and the 3-3. What does this tell you guys? It tells you that you're targeting boxes. Now with the 4-2, 4-2, if you're going one off axis, you get the 2-1 and the 6-5. And you get it 4 times. So this is what I'm trying to say. These are 4 numbers which are, I think, I don't know how Brian puts it, wasted rolls or something like that. That's how his song goes anyway. So 6-4-6-2 is our set. I'm just going to adjust the set, maybe. 4-1-2-1. I know my analysis is a little bit out there, but I've spent quite a bit of time sort of thinking about and analyzing dice results just to be able to, align my way of throwing on a particular day to my mechanics. 1-5-6, 4-1-4-2, 1-5-6 is secondary. So we did the right thing because the ace gives us confidence. We're still on axis, we're still gonna stay with V sets. 3-1-3-5. That's the original set. We're just gonna quarter turn it to 1-4-5-4. Why? Because our rotations are telling us that we're hitting the 4s and the 3s, which are very important in V sets. Because if you do that, the off-axis 7 cannot happen. 4 plus the off-axis cannot be a 7. It's a 2-6-8. That I didn't like. That was explosion of both dice, 2-6-8. We're at 9 hits. One 4, 5-4, explosion of both dice, 2-6-8. Going to quarter turn them to a 6-3-2-3. Why? Because they become explosion friendly sets. By the way, we just avoided a 7 on a hardware set. Two 5, shit. So one die exploded, the other one went to the bottom. Okay, 2-5-7. Did the best I could. Really bad results in terms of the 7, but you can see this thing. The 3s were there. It was just an unlucky explosion of the die. It would have been a 6-5. Anyway. So we got 9 hits out of it. And because of the 2 last results, now is the time to go to kissing sets. Hey John, good morning. Glad to hear that you guys get sun. Let me just put my bets down. Here we go. All right, so my set, kissing sets, is 1565. I think Brian is 6212. Same set, just different direction. You have the 4s inside. You can see them here, 4 and 4. I think you can see them. So, how do we throw this set? Well, what we need is a 1-off axis, but we don't want the dice to drift either this way or that way. That's one thing. The other thing that we don't want is for the dice to remain primary. Top and bottom are already 7, so we want them to be secondary. This is a very forgiving set. Here we go, dice out. It gives you most information. Dice out. All right, I like the 4. I think it was a 6, 4, 10. One, 5, 6, 5. We want the 1-off axis. For 5, 9, another 1-off axis. This time is the left die exploding. Dice out. I like the 4, 2, 6. That's explosion left. Oh no, not hard 8. Shit. Did we have an 8 before? No, we didn't. Guys, sorry, I can't change that on Crapsee. But I can't change it only on the other one. Sorry about that. Now that's my 2 hits. I'm coming down. Either 6 or 8 would have paid me the same, but I am sorry about pressing the wrong button, so can't change it on Crapsee. So how do we manipulate the axis? I mean, how do we make sure that we go 1-off axis? I would say 90% has to do with the thumb. The thumb will direct the dice to either, gently go forward and stay on axis, or if we just push the dice it's bound to open them up. The other thing is the release. The higher the release, the more underneath our thumb is going to be, so it's going to have more effect on how the dice move. That's it. That's a 358. That's implosion of the left die. That would have been hardware result for, let's say, a 4-6, 4-5. That would have been a hard 10, for example. One, 5, 6, 5. Dice up. 1, 6. That's primary, and that's it. We're out. Oops. And that's the disadvantage of both hardways and these kissing sets. You get one thing wrong, it's instant death. There's not much you can do with these sets. The advantage is that you get two double pitch, which are non-sevens. So I'm not throwing that well, am I? Let's see. No, not really. And this one here, 2.92, okay. BSR almost where we should be, 73% boxes. No yos today. Well, okay. We have to do better. Going to hardways. Six, 4, 6, 4. Now with hardways, the most important thing is the middle finger. If you get that right, which I didn't, 6, 1. If you get that right, then you get away with, having 4 sevens out of the equation. Sorry, Lee. I think I'm talking too much. Here we go. 6, 4, 6, 4. Six, 2, 5, 6. So we've got a point. There's it. Five, 3, or 5, 6, 5. Okay, I don't know how that translates to your betting, but yeah, okay. That's it, number one. The front line. The other thing is, you guys can play around with the sets and not use the same set all the time. I mean, sometimes what I do is I quarter turn the dice, 3-6, 3-6. Dice out. Heart 6, 3-3. So, I mean, if you get a number like a 3-3, which is primary, on axis, etc., what do you do? If I get two of them in a row, I'm going to move to, I don't know, something like a V set. Let's do it again, 3-1, 3-1. Same kind of set, same, numbers, just rotated around. That's it. 3-4, oh shit. Wow, double pitched it. Yeah, I'm not throwing them. So what do? I go to my V sets now, back to V sets. Because that was on axis as well. So 3-6. 3-2, quarter turn the dice. No. 6-4, 2-4, dice out. One five. If it's a 1-5, it's a primary. If it's a 5-1, it's explosion on both dice. Let's go with a 1-5, which is a 1-4-5-4. Quarter turn to a 3-1-3-5, sorry. 3-1-3-5. Five, 6, drift. You can see the 3 as well, and the 3 on this one. That was a beautiful drift. Dice. Oh, fuck's sake. Double pitch. Why? Am I not being enough, careful enough? Perfect double pitch with a 6-5 as well. On a 3-1-3-5. Jesus Christ. Come on. Gonna repeat. I'm gonna be working. I'll be using Derek's set. 2, 1, 2, 3. Place again, 3, 4. 6, 1. I'm really messing up.
Oops.
One of axis. One, 5, 3, 5. Let's go. Come on. Hard 10, that's a primary. Time. Four, 5, 6. 4, 2, 6, 2. That's 6, 5. Of a 2, 1, 2, 6, 2 secondary. Got the 2 out of it, I'm happy. Two, 4, 1, 4. That's how. 3, 2. That's implosion, right? Three, 1, 2, 1. No. 3, 6, 2, 6. Place that. Aces, that's a primary. Two, 6, 4, 6. 5-1, secondary. Five, 3, 1, 3. Two, 3, 5, secondary. Two, 1, 3, 1. Dice up. 3, 6. That's implosion of the left die with a 6, which makes us feel okay. Three, 5, 6, 5. Heart 10. That's a primary. Come down. One, 2, 4, 2. Dice up. Dice up. 6, 2. Secondary. Six, 4, 2, 4. Aces. We had them, right? Must be a repeater there. I didn't like that, but that's explosion of the right die. 1, 3, 1, 2. 3, 6, 2, 6. Dice out. Heart 6. 3626, that's implosion of the right die, which is okay. Takes us to a 3135. The quarter turned out to a 1454.
Hey guys, time to roll the dice. No more bets. Thank you.
4-1. That's implosion right again. 4-1-5. For 5-1-5. So
Hey guys, time to roll the dice. No more bets. Thank you.
6-1. 5-1-5. Means what? That's explosion of their left eye. 6-1. Crap. Got it very wrong. Why did I push the dice? So where are we? Let's see. 60 something rolls. 5.0 SRR. Very, very, very short rolls. Alright, we're right at random with our boxes. 4s and 10s at random. 50% on the inside at random. Best rolls 15, 7, 11. That 7 was the small. After that, we had quite a few disappointing rolls. Okay, let's get back to this. I guess it's back to hard ways.
Hey guys,
Since we're going one of axes,
no more
the suggestion is the same: 6-5, 6-5, 6-2, 6-2, something like that. There we go, nice up. Card 4, that's a primary. Heart 4, okay. On a 6-2, 6-2, that means have to have the 5s. So like a 3-5, 3-5. No. 6-2, 6-2. Oh, 4-2, 4-2, okay. The set that I said don't use. Here we go. 4-2, 4-2. It's a 2, 1, 3 of axis. That's the things that I'm telling you not to use the 4 2s and the 5 4s and whatever, because if you go 1 of axis, you have 4 rubbish numbers. Let's go 6 2 6 2. So again, 1 2. That's the secondary. All right. Persistent little shit. To 6 to 6. Heart 10. Another on axis. So we have 2 in a row. It means we're not safe staying on the hardware sets. We have to go to resets.
Hey guys, time to roll the dice. No more bets.
5 3 5 1. 4 5 6 5 is a set. We double pitched. Would have been a 7 out in the hard ways. So it's like a proof of concept. Proof of concept meaning you make a decision of what sort of sets to follow, and because you're staying on axis, you choose the V sets because they only contain 2 7s on them. So if you double pitch, you have 2 chances of avoiding it. In this case, we couldn't. So let's try again. We try again and again. Today is not a good day. So we're still staying with V sets, still staying with a quarter turn because it actually caused the numbers that we need to see, but not together. That's 4 1. There's a 2 4 2 1 set. Quarter turn to a 3 2. 6 2. What we want to see in the result is a 2 or a 5. We've got the 5 6 5. For 6 for 5 is a set. We used at the beginning. We're just going to quarter turn it to 1 4 2 4. And in the result, we want to see a 4 or a 3.
Hey guys, time to roll the dice. No more bets. Thank you.
So 2 1, no. That was what? That was explosion of both. So we're good with that. Because we set the dice to 5 4 6. That's a primary. It's not explosion for 5 4 6. Yeah. 2 1 is right here. So in a 3 2 3 1 set, we're going to turn to 5 3 6 3.
Hey guys,
We're just following the dice. Expectation again is for what? A 3 or a 4 in the result. That's it. 415 takes us back to the previous result. Good. We're coming down. So the set is a 2 4 2 1. Quarter turn to a 3 2 6 2. Expectation is to see either a 2 or a 5 in the result. One, two. Got the 2. Original set is a 4 1 4 2. Quarter turn to 6 4 5 4. Expectation is a 4 or a 3 in the result.
hey guys,
Expectation basically is a confidence booster that we're doing something right. That's a 3, 5 3. We got the 3 out of it. So the 1 5 1 3 is the next set. It just follows what we're doing. Quarter turn to 2 1 4 1. We want to see a 1 or a 6 in the result.
hey guys, time to roll the dice. No more bets. Thank you.
And we got both together, 1 6 double pitch. Best kind of 7.
Oops.
Alright, so where are we at? 72 exactly. I'm gonna stop here because this is frankly it's not a very good roll. I'm not doing that well. Let's go and check Crapsee and see how did people cope with my bad shooting today. Yeah, I would say skill stayed up at 616. and dice by night 546. So yeah, that's quite good. I came up because I was one or two hits and down, and the one or two hits were very extreme. Forget about me. I'm just trying to put some pressure on myself. Big money's up there. Big money Ray is up there. Travel God is up there. Big money Bill at 97. J roll. Cheap one at 15. Jace, Judge, Red Eye. I think Red Eye is making good money because he's playing Dark Side. Coffeeland 7-4. Not Drink Lady 5-4-1. I think she was higher up, but well done. Past the 13. Chef 2. Badger. Justice Jen 1680. Well done, Jen. Well done indeed. So I usually use Jen as my benchmark. So if people are doing well, it means all is good in the world. So we have 87 players. We need 45 in the positive. We got there, and we got a few more. 48, 49. We got 51, so that's good. Anyway, today was a particularly bad session for me. I think I was talking too much. I usually don't talk that much. This is big money. She's on the way back. Well done. Sean, I hope to see you soon in the positive. Uncle Hoku down, but I'm sure we'll see him up there. And the rest, I don't know, probably left. I'm not sure. Anyway. So, thank you again. Did not do anything notable today. 62.5. We even dropped lower, but look at those nines, non-existent. The tens high, the sixes high, fives high, 3 craps, which are rubbish numbers, and snake eyes were a bit high. Okay. And something that somebody else told me to look out for. Let's go back to Crapsee. I want to show you this thing. Because that's over 659 rolls. And you can see there's a valley where the 7 is. So we have been doing quite well in terms of the 6, in terms of the 9, the 10, the yellow, the 12, the 2, the 4. So we're lacking behind on the 8s. And 3 craps, which I don't care about the 3 craps, to be honest. But yeah. Too bad you don't cruise. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Me and the wife, we prefer to go to places and sort of have our boots on the ground and sort of find out about countries as opposed to be on a cruise boat. I'll probably take that up later on when I turn 60 or so, but for now, I think we're keeping ourselves firmly sort of rooted to the ground. We travel by plane and then we hit the countries running, I guess, to see as much as we can, take in as much of the culture as we can. So yeah, not too bad, not too good today, but thank you guys for joining. I do appreciate you staying up and keeping me company. And my advice is just stay humble, and do your best at the tables. I think my friend Jen is going to go on a trip very soon. So best of luck to Jen, and good luck basically. Thank you guys. This is George, and dice are out.